People have asked who invaded Eden, and so this is a short explanation of that. The underworld, many mistakenly call Hollow Earth. It is ruled by Anne, and Lilith is his daughter. In fact, almost all of them were related to Anne. Jupiter is Zul. Saturn is the gray Ra'el. Anne is regent of Uranus. Lilith is regent of Venus. And this is how it works. So the story began with Solomon. Solomon made a pact with Set. And this actually created the invasion and established the slave system, what we call the Babylon slave system of Ur. And this created the first ziggurat dedicated to Set. All the history and the images they're using are fake. They're using it as justification to seize land, because that's how they set it up. They were promised their own nation, and this is how they were doing it. A group of them got together and formed the coven, and this was Coven Ant. This statue is of Baal, and these are the 7 candlesticks for the 7 worlds involved. Here they are on their poles, sticks. 9 invaded, but these 7 in particular were held accountable. Lilith's avatar is Queen Elizabeth, who was exiled from the underworld for giving you religion and removing the truth. 7 candlesticks, 7 hills. This was the feeding ground, because they eat men. Lilith's race in particular eats children, and as they erased it, they breached the law. The law is they must name themselves the left-hand path of Set. Saturn Ra-El is over the Borg. Ra rules Saturn. He is the gray Elohim. These are the Borg cubes that they use. And if you pull out the map and look carefully, you can see the scorched earth all around the area. The divine feminine has nothing to do with women. It is an alchemical term for the negative pole of energy that is used for mass weapons. That is why one of the pyramids is remembered as my doom. These are the scorch marks that these weapons left. You can look all around the area and find, if you bring it up close, that it actually changed the composition of the soil. They named everything after themselves. You can see their names all over the map. People think that this was thousands of years ago. It was not. The pipes in India underground are still radioactive hot. Simply look for the pictures for Project High Jump, which are now disclosed. Ra made himself God, and he owed power to the Solomon line for establishing their rule. Set is actually the ruler of all the underworld, and they gave us all these myths that people look for today. They told the humans, such as Solomon's line, that they were alien hybrids and therefore a higher race than the human population. They told them they had a 3-strand DNA, not a 2-strand, and therefore they were better. In fact, they are less. They also told them they were the children of Cain. Well, Anne already confessed he made the whole Bible up. It was a skit to establish and keep the promise to Solomon's line to give them their own nation and their own race. The charter was issued to Elizabeth and Rothschild. So their claim to be the descendant of Cain or alien is simply not true. It was a control mechanism. The parasite is allowing control of them, and it also allows them to shapeshift. This was an interesting article if you want to pause and read it. This young man did an excellent, excellent job. If you'd like to see the whole thing, it is on YouTube. For the purpose of this video, I am only doing part of it. It does corroborate the date we were given as the 19th century, and more importantly, it shows what was stolen from Eden.
There are no forests on Earth. When you read this loud headline, even with exclamation mark in the end, every sensible person will say that I'm out of my mind and will throw at me millions of photos with images of forests. I want you to believe this is another trick. They made us think that this is forest. Actually, you are looking at the 30 meters bushes. This is total bullshit and nonsense, you will say to me. Of course we know how forests look like. We all walked and strolled in them. Well, expected reaction. And it's fair. But after listening or reading this chapter, its headline won't seem strange to you, cause you will overturn your concept of forests 360 degrees. And now, first things first. And here's the thing. We found these photos. This is vandalic felling of the sequoias in the California redwood in 1880 till 1920 that are survived by miracle in the planet's bombarding in 1816. Just imagine how much years this tree needs to grow up to these sizes. And then comes freaks with saws and axes, 1, 2, and no more tree. In the proportion of these trees we can see rule. Diameter of the stump is about 3 times bigger than woodcutter's growth. Let's look on this formula. You just think about it. You are entering the forest whose height is not usual 30 meters, but 100. Here's your fairy forest from fairy tales and books. So, there are only two differences, material and size. Devil's Tower points to 6 kilometers high tree. But then we realized that Devil's Tower is a young plant compared to other trees on our planet. For example, mountain in the Cape Town, Africa. This is what really impressive. This plateau is 3 kilometers in diameter. If we sum 3 to 12, we will get tree of 60 kilometers high. Do you even give yourself a report how big its branches are? Only on one of its branches you can easily place huge residential quarter with all shopping malls, schools, parks. Just imagine how huge it is. Of course your mind will never see that this mountain in Africa is a tree that is 10 times higher than Devil's Tower tree. Does anyone remember how not cut it, but broken tree looks like? I will remind you. Understood my hint? No? Let's play a game again. Find 10 differences. I think you understood meanings of my words. So, I want you to look at the highest stumps of our planet that were mined like a quarry and were broke by a blast. For example, tree Everest.
You can look all around the globe, and every single desert has uranium signatures. The Ptolemy double-headed eagle is found in South America, and Isis temples are found in the United States. For those who inquired, Anne sits at the North Pole, Azazel sits at the South Pole. Ra had a bridge tied into the Gulf of Mexico. Eve created a law that all good goes up. Many of these people took human form. The L in particular. The Vatican is the 9 Council of Archangel Michael, which is the promoted name for Azazel. And because these branches were causing all the problems, all the crimes, because the Vatican would not stop, it would not stop the federals, it would not stop the royals. And so, in total, all the L pay the price. I hope this answers some of your questions, and we'll see you again.